Last week, we ended with what is the purpose of Malchus to me? Where does this take me? What do I experience as a result of the king telling me to go out from where I am? So, this week, I want to cover what awaits me when I uncover my purpose in life. How does that express itself for me personally? What does gratitude enable me to achieve? And what happens when I fail to appreciate, when I fail to express gratitude? Or how can I express gratitude if in fact I feel that some parts of my life are in fact subpar? So we jump into it by reminding us that in the previous chapter, we described Malchus, or Malkuchut, as representing the concept of purpose and meaning that is bound with this midas, serving as the ultimate goal, the final step in the process of creative manifestation. You might recall that in the Kabbalistic Sphirot, Malchut is everything that comes through from the upper world into our world. So when I talk about our world, us being the vessel that receives that which was stirred solely for the purpose of filling it. In other words, everything that's going on in the upper world, everything I pray for, everything that's meant for me to have, is coming through to Malchus. All of my actions that I manifest in the world around me will come back to me in Malchus, in this world. So, in our own experience of personal expression, our desires, thoughts, wisdom, kindness, severity, pride, endurance, submission, and drive to connect must find a Malchus, must find I want to read this here, a purpose and meaning that is bound up with my ability to serve Hashem, ability to live here, and as we said, the final manifestation of what we're doing here. So, deep down, every Jewish soul feels that this is what I'm yearning for, to come home, redemption. And each one of us, as we said, has the ability to free the princess from her bonds and bring her back home. Generally, one's Malchus is defined by one's sphere of influence. In other words, my spouse, my children, my co-workers, students, family members, friends. There's more of this in Likutei Moharan 56.1. So it is the potential receptivity of the surroundings, of my surroundings, that enables the Jew, to fully manifest the silent potency that roils within. In other words, it's my people. It's everything that's around me that's going to manifest this. My particular surroundings and the unique circumstances of my life allow me to properly express that which would otherwise remain forever hidden within. So, again, what does gratitude enable me? So, when a person is satisfied with his position in life and attains the recognition that my circumstances represent the perfect Malchus, perfect receptacle, which enables me to express the powers of my inner world, my life is saturated with a sense of serenity, stability, a deep joy that reaches the core of my being. Here, however, Rabbi Nachman speaks of a scenario in which one's Malchus is taken by the no good one. This means that the Jew feels, and I'm switching back and forth between first person and third person simply to make sure that I remain aware that I'm talking about me. We're talking about all of us, but I'm talking about me. This means that the Jew feels as if the Malchus allotted to him in his experience is not adequate for that which he wishes to disclose. In other words, if I'm saying that I'm not grateful for what I have, so instead of one's spouse, home, and other vessels broadening one's mind by granting him the ability to express himself in full, one feels as if they constrict him in failing to provide context for the content of his particular character. Okay, how often have I done this? I think the people around me are what's holding me back. When one falls into this mistaken view, a view unhinged from simplicity and the faith in Alshech pratis, that everything in his life is meant as it is, but I look at it as being lo tov, no good. From there, all of the elements of my personal malchus become subpar. My spouse, my children, my co-workers, etc., the cause for a deep and abiding anxiety and the urge to escape to a different place with other vessels, I am certain will better match the powers of my soul. This illustration provides a deeper insight into understanding what it means when malchus is taken by the no good one. And this important idea is discussed by the Degel Machaneh Ephraim Re'ah B'chol Gevolech. So I want to just sum up this chapter, where we came from in these last few minutes. This is in a grave error, the chapter called a grave error, where we started by asking, on one occasion, when the king was together with her on a certain day, he grew angry with her and threw the following words from his mouth. May the no good one take you. That night she went to her room, and in the morning no one knew where she went. So we went through Epis Tug, just another day, when we took the king for granted, when we take our life for granted. We then talked about how I ought to feel for everything that I'm blessed with, and here being the king's strategy to wake me up through the different things that I've gone through. And again, when I left to go to my room, in other words, when I showed my dissatisfaction, I expressed it, I lived it, I acted it, I went back to my room, not back to Hashem's room, not back to Hashem to say, Hashem, help me. I went back to my room. And this was what led to my grave error, is what led to me being banished. Lessons for life. When one of the parties, and even the closest of relationships, ceases to appreciate the gift of their bond and begins taking the other's love for granted, it is incredibly painful and destructive. 2, gratitude preserves the excitement, passion, and desire we once felt towards something even after attaining it. When we stop being grateful for the gifts in our lives, we have lost touch with the deep feelings we have toward those gifts, and they cease to inspire wonder and joy in our hearts. Now we remember what gratitude's about. It preserves the excitement, passion, and desire we once felt towards something, even after attaining it. We get married, when we achieve a goal, we get a new job, whatever it is, a new toy, whether it's a Lego set or a car. But then we stop being grateful for these. That's when we've lost touch with the deep feelings we had toward these gifts when we first attained them. And they cease to inspire the same wonder and joy in our hearts that we had before. All apparent heavenly distancing is only for the purpose of bringing us closer. While it may seem as if Hashem is driving us away, in truth, He wants us to use this challenge as an opportunity to express how much He means to us by returning to His service. In other words, He had this in mind when He created a situation in which we feel we've been banished. When we make the mistake of thinking that Hashem's apparent rejection is for real and run away from His fury, this devastating error leaves us susceptible to the evil forces. So we'll close for this session, and when we come back, we'll jump into the Viceroy's 3 requests, chapter 4 of our book, of our story, and how the Viceroy, the king's helper, goes to search for the lost princess and returns us to our purpose and the meaning that we have in our lives. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you again.